what's up everyone? GameDad here, and I'm coming at you with a brand new game review. This time I am taking a look at Zelda Link's Awakening on the Nintendo Switch. Now right here I do have the Dreamer Edition, so it comes with the game as well as a cool art book. So I will take you guys through a quick unboxing, that way you can see everything that comes in the Dreamer Edition, and then we will go into some gameplay and my thoughts about the game. So come with me as we check it out. Alright everyone, so here is a quick unboxing of what comes in the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Dreamers Edition on the Switch. So as you can see, we got that awesome artwork on the front. It kind of gives you a heads up as to what is in here. It is the game and the art book. And then on the back it shows some screens of the game, some of what you can expect, a brief little bio of it, and then all you got to do is just crack it open and go from there. So we're gonna open this guy up, and the first thing I will show you is the art book. We have that right here. We're gonna go through that in just a second, because the other thing inside of here is the actual game case, much like the cover art. And then on the back it shows Koholint Island with the Windfish's egg right there, and nice artwork. Typical spine that you would expect. We'll set that off to the side. Now right here we have the Dreamer art book, and as you go through, very nice, elegant looking, gives you a still or a screenshot from the intro to the game, and then it just starts showing you some of the art. Now I am not going to go through all of this because I don't want there to be any spoilers, but here is starting off with the first instrument, and the way they lay this book out is they show you everything that's in that particular section of the game. So you're just going through, they show you different concept art, like right here this is maybe village sketches. Here is Marin and Terran. You have the house right here. They show you just all the different concept art of how they got to what everything looks like. And I mean, it's awesome. I love the aesthetics that they chose for this game. You can see just various things, different enemies, dungeons, and then it goes into the next instrument from there and starts showing you more of the game. But as I said, I will not give any spoilers, so I'm just going to close that and we are going to move on to the game review. Alright, now where to start with this awesome game? I mean, first off, everything that comes in this collection is just great. I always love being able to get like art books and stuff like that. So it was awesome to see a collector's edition that came with that kind of material. So it was fun being able to see through all the concept sketches and everything that they did for going from the original Link's Awakening games back in the day to what they wanted it to be now. And the only thing that keeps coming to mind is it's like a Island of Misfit Toys kind of vibe. So everything looks like real but cartoony, so it looks kind of like toys, and I really like that aesthetic in the game. Now, in order to beat this game, I played through around 14-15 hours, something like that. I did not go completionist and try and collect every single seashell that was in the game, but I did get quite a few of them, and going through all the dungeons, of course, just like any mainline Zelda game, that's the goal. You want to go through all these dungeons, solve all the amazing puzzles, and get whatever your reward is at the end after beating the boss. Now, what was super unique about the Link's Awakening game was that it was something that was not created by the same team that made the original Zelda games. It was just another group of guys that were kind of doing it in their own time, off to the side, and then it sort of took off into its like own, for lack of a better term, own little world. And what became the result of that own little world was one of the favorite Zelda games of many Zelda fans around the world. The game has a super unique feel to it. It has the same kind of feel that any Zelda game would have, but it goes above and beyond. And from what I remember, this was the first Zelda game where you could actually jump. I mean, you couldn't do that in any of the other ones. You could kind of like go downhill like Pokemon-esque, but you can never actually just jump over things, and that is a key component to being able to solve everything in this game. Now, even though you do get a bit of freedom when exploring Koholint Island, it is actually still a pretty linear story. The game starts out with Link becoming kind of like shipwrecked or something. You see him capsize after he is sailing on the ocean. And the next thing that he knows is he wakes up on the beach with this girl standing over him trying to revive him, and he has no idea what's going on. He just appeared on this island that has a weird egg sitting on top of it. Now, if you have never played the original Link's Awakening games, or you haven't played the new one, I'm not going to give any kind of spoilers as to what the purpose of the egg is or what's really going on with this island. Just know that it is a really good story, and it fits in so well in the entire like Zelda universe. Now, as with most Zelda games, you start off with basically nothing, and you have to go get your sword and everything, and then that allows you to start exploring a little further, lets you get that first key, and lets you experience your first dungeon. Now, one big difference with this game compared to some of the other Zelda games is other Zelda games, a lot of the time, you'll just go straight into a dungeon and solve the puzzle, boom, you're at the boss. You get whatever you need from that boss and you continue in the game. In this one, you also go through, depending on the dungeon, either one or multiple mini boss fights, or you may even fight the same mini boss a few times before you get to the actual boss of the dungeon. And in this game, unlike other ones, those bosses are called nightmares. Now, them being called nightmares is your first and only clue that I'm going to give you as to what is going on in this story. Now, as you progress and you're going through all the dungeons, you're defeating the different nightmares, you start unlocking these instruments, and the purpose of the instruments is you are trying to wake up the windfish. And that's not a spoiler or anything like that. They constantly tell you that right from the get-go in the beginning of the game. Now, I know that other Zelda games do touch on things with instruments and different musical things. Obviously, Ocarina of Time, that's the huge thing, is the ocarina. But in this one, there's tons of different instruments. But the ocarina does actually make another appearance, and you can use it to do different things like teleporting around the map, playing a windfish song, and there's also some other things that it's capable of doing as well. Now, your main goal is to collect all of these instruments and wake up the windfish. Now, along the way, every puzzle naturally gets more and more difficult. Now, as you're going through and doing these puzzles, the difficulty does ramp up, especially in the later game. It really ramps up from, say, maybe you're on like the 4th or 5th dungeon, and then you hit like the 7th or 8th dungeon. They are just on a different level with the complexities that go into the puzzles. But as a result of this, you get to see a lot of Zelda universe mainstays, like the hook shot. I mentioned earlier in the video that you also are able to jump now. So you have the boots that help you run, you have the feather that helps you jump, you get the hook shot and the ocarina, and there's all these tools that you get along the way. And there's a few of them where you don't actually need them to complete the game, but some of them make the game significantly easier to beat. Now, onto my thoughts about this game. It is just another Zelda game, but I will say it is one of my favorite Zelda games. I remember playing the original Link's Awakening games, and they're awesome. I mean, they are in my Game Boy and Game Boy Color collections, and they are fantastic games. And I don't know what it is about the handheld versions of Zelda games, whether it's a remake for a handheld like Ocarina of Time 3D or Majora's Mask 3D, or it's a different game altogether, like with Link's Awakening or maybe Link Between Worlds. But anytime one of these games is actually on a handheld, I kind of hold it in a special place in my heart because they feel more personal than the console ones. It's kind of hard to describe, but I always enjoy the time playing the handheld Zelda games more than I do the console ones. Not to say the console ones aren't good or anything like that. I love all the Zelda games, but I prefer the handheld games more. Maybe it's because the adventures are a little bit shorter, the puzzles not necessarily are easier, but they're a little quicker to get through, so you can experience a whole story without having to put, 30, 40 hours into a game. Now, this game is no different. I had an absolute blast playing this on the Switch. Now, with the Switch, it's kind of a unique situation because, yeah, it's a console, but it is also a handheld. And my Switch, I play about 99% in handheld. I think I've spent maybe a total of an hour and a half playing it docked, and the rest of the time is just with me on the go. So being able to play this game on the go was just awesome. I mean, I would play it at home a lot, but you know, if I was out running some errands and I was at a stopping point or something like that, then I would just pull out my Switch and start playing a little bit of the game. Then I could pause it, go about my day, and get back to it again later on. And it's awesome. I mean, this isn't really a video, you know, praising the Switch or anything like that, but this experience is perfect for the Switch. It is perfect for a console that can be handheld. Now, would I say that this is my favorite Zelda game of all time? No. Is it in my top 5? Definitely, it is in my top 5. As far as the handheld Zelda games go, I would say that this is probably my second favorite. If you're going based off of its aesthetics and everything alone, I would say that the game is probably my favorite of all the Zelda games. I don't know what it is about the way they made everything look kind of like toys, but it was super fun. And even though it was a new reskin, I still had that same nostalgic factor, and it was great being able to play through an old game with this brand new skin over the top of it, and it was just awesome. I mean, aesthetics alone, it's my number one. If you're going by my favorite Zelda handhelds, honestly, I really enjoyed playing Link Between Worlds because I love Link to the Past, so playing a game in that same vein, just with some new mechanics, was awesome. So that's probably my number one handheld, but Link's Awakening on the Switch is definitely a close second for me, and I just enjoyed playing this game. It was awesome. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about with this game was the addition of a new feature. Now, this is always something that's kind of risky for a game developer to do, take, you know, something that's beloved from the past and add to it. I mean, in this particular sense, I think Nintendo nailed it. And in other games, they haven't always nailed it, and neither have other companies. But in this one, the new thing that they added was the ability to create your own dungeons. Now, I know there's been rumors and different things going around the internet of something like a Zelda version of Mario Maker. Now, I'm not making any predictions. I don't know if something like that is going to happen, but this gives you kind of a taste of what a Zelda Mario Maker kind of game could be. I mean, it gives you just a small inkling of it because throughout the game they add the ability to collect different tiles and things like that so that you could actually make your own dungeons, and then you can actually share those dungeons with other people. That way they get to play them too. So, I mean, it's pretty awesome that they added a feature like this. Now, I have not done a deep dive into it. I've gone through the first couple of tutorial things on it, and I mean, it's pretty straightforward how to make the different dungeons, and you can make them easy, you can make them hard, you can make them kind of ramp up in difficulty, and overall it was just a really cool experience being able to make my own Zelda dungeons. Now, one thing I do want to clarify in regards to being able to share them, now it is not something where you can just, you know, go online and share your levels or anything like that. It's actually done through the little Link amiibo. Now, I ended up picking this up at the same time that I got the game. I'm not sure if this is the only amiibo you can use to transfer it. I mean, they all just have a little NFC chip in them. But with this one, this is the one designed for the game. See if you guys can focus in on that a little bit. And it's kind of fun. It's that toy-looking character of Link for Link's Awakening, and you can use this to transfer your levels to other Switches so that people can play any of the levels that you make and vice versa. And with that, that is everything that I wanted to go through and touch on for this review. But overall, I would say this game is amazing. If you haven't picked it up yet, or you were thinking about picking it up, or you remember playing the old Zelda Link's Awakening back in the day, I highly recommend this game. It's awesome. So there you have it, everyone. That is my thoughts on Link's Awakening on the Switch. It was an amazing game back when it was on Game Boy, and then they revamped it for Game Boy Color and gave it kind of that nice reskin upgrade. And then on the Switch, I mean, this game was amazing. I loved the art style with it, and being able to play through an adventure from, gosh, what was it, 20 years ago or something now. I mean, it was just a ton of fun to be able to go through and play through this old adventure again in a brand new light. Now, what I want to know is, have you played this game yet, or do you remember playing the original ones on Game Boy or Game Boy Color? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, please be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, as well as that little notification bell so you get an alert every time I got a new video coming out. Now, as always, I'm GameDad. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later.